Hey, what is up? Welcome back to my channel. If it is your first time here, my name is Kiki Carr and I teach women of color how to treat dark spots and acne at home. So if that sounds like something that you may be interested in, be sure to hit that subscribe button so you don't miss any future videos. As I stated, my name is Kiki Carr. I am a licensed esthetician, a cosmetic formulator, and I hold a whole bunch of scientific degrees, but none of that qualifies me to talk about the subject of acne more than actually having the condition myself. So I figured that I would start sharing with you what it is that I do, what it is that I use, and everything that I know, with the hopes that maybe it can help you too. Now today's video is a little bit different. We're skipping over the skincare for today and we're going straight into a makeup tutorial because I was sitting back thinking like, oh my God, it's already about to be 2023. And it got my 40-something-year-old self just thinking about, you know what? 50 coming right around the corner. You knocking, babe. You knocking on that door. You might as well start doing makeup tutorials for women over 50 because, baby, you damn near there. And even though I am not 50 quite yet, I have been in the beauty industry for over 30 years. I started doing makeup when I was just a little girl, and I have worked with all ages and all races of women. So stick around if you want to see how I did this face-lifting makeup. Taking in my new setup. It is looking so freaking good. I'm geek. I'm happy. Okay, well, I ain't gonna hold you. Let's go ahead and get into these makeup tips. Okay, so the first thing you want to do, of course, is moisturize. I'm going to take some of my Avo Cosmetics Restorative Face Cream and I am going to moisturize my skin really, really good. So because I always have had little squinty hooded eyes, the eye tricks and the techniques that I'm going to show to lift the eye area, I have always done. But for the skin, for the foundation, now that has changed drastically. Because I'm oily skin, acne prone, I have always used a matte foundation. Never really used a primer like that, like I could do without one. These days, gotta prime, okay? And I am staying away, even being oily skin and acne prone, I am staying away from matte foundations because they tend to like settle in my lines and things like that. I am loving the hydrating formula for foundation in my 40s. So I have been enjoying this Milk Hydrogrip. I really like the way it performs. So I'm just going to dab some onto my skin. Not rub it in, but rub it on. And for foundation, I'm going to go in with the Born This Way original formula, the hydrating formula. And I'm going to use this with my absolute favorite Watermelon Glow. Like, this really helps the makeup look so much like skin, like there is no settling in nothing because it looks like skin. And I'm just going to take my kabuki brush and stipple both of those into the skin. I mix them together. Okay, so now that that is all stippled into the skin, we are going to take the Born This Way concealer and just dot it on the high points of our face. I like to do this underneath my eyes, down the bridge of my nose, my chin, and my forehead. So we can either use a sponge or a brush. I'm going to use both. I'm going to start off with a sponge. I like blending my makeup with a sponge because it actually picks up excess product. Okay, so now that that is pretty much sheared out, I'm going to take a brush and buff it in and buff out the harsh edges. Now, if you don't have these type of like concealer buffing brushes, I recommend that you get the Real Techniques Expert Face Brush, beginner friendly brush. Yeah, this one right here. Okay, now I'm going to take some of my Neutrogena Concealer and just brighten up a little bit more. Just on my nose. Right in the corner of my eye. just a couple of little dots. I'm gonna take that concealer brush and just like tap it in. You want the under eye to look as fresh as possible, which means you want it to be brightened, but not so bright that it doesn't look like you. But adding brightening concealer under the eye, it really helps you look well rested, it helps you look awake, it helps you look fresh, it helps you look radiant. And that's like the look that we want to go for. We don't want to look clown, we don't want to look artificial, we don't want to look made up, we don't want to look overdone. We're trying to look fresh, well rested, awake, vibrant, youthful, radiant, happy. And putting a little bit of brightening concealer underneath the eye really goes a long way. Okay, so my next step is to set the makeup. Mid makeup, I have been loving to use this MAC Fix Plus to set my makeup. It just has been making a world of difference. So now we are going to further set the makeup by pressing in a little bit of the translucent powder everywhere we have highlighted. Definitely use a powder puff to do this because it actually presses it in. Okay, so now that the makeup is set, we can actually start doing other parts of the face. The concealer and the foundation is set, is good to go. It's not gonna crease, it's not gonna move. So we can start like actually doing the lifting techniques at this time. So we're gonna first start with the brows. We do want to give our brows a bit of a higher arch, but not too high. Brows are how people read expressions on our face. So we don't want to have it too arched because we will look angry, but we do want to pull the face upward a little bit, so that means that we won't be doing a brow that kind of goes straight across. We do want to arch, but like I said, not an extremely high arch. So I'm just going to take my MAC spiked brow pencil and I'm just going to pretty much follow the natural pattern of my brow. I typically teach to go ahead and follow what your natural bone structure and everything is doing. However, when we are using makeup to lift our face, we want to pull everything upward. Nothing fancy here, just taking a pencil and filling in your brows. I do have a brow video coming up soon, so be sure to subscribe so you don't miss that. Okay, so now we are going to go ahead and get into the fun part. I'm going to do a little bit of contouring right before we do the shadow. So I'm going to take a little bit more of my translucent powder and I'm going to use a sponge to place some underneath my eye. I'm placing the powder underneath my eye and alongside my nose. We do want this part to sit on top because it's going to catch any fallout from the shadows that we are about to do. So now I'm going to take my LYS bronzer and my handy dandy angled brush and I'm going to drag some of the bronzer on each side of my nose. Using an angled brush to contour is game changing. Like, it does all the work for you. Okay, and I am going to, because I'm extra, because I'm Kiki Carr, I'm going to go in a little bit more on my nose with this shader brush, smudger brush, and a little bit of the Black Radiance pressed powder. Okay, so next I'm going to take some of my NARS bronzer and I'm going to bronze up the rest of my face. Now notice I'm not going in the hollow of the cheek. I'm going like right above it. Shading out the double chin. So now is the fun part where we not only continue to lift the face, but we lift those droopy eyes. So I think that a good palette to work with today would be the Jaclyn Hill's Divine Neutrals, because I mean, it's just very easy, it's just very beginner friendly, it's nothing but a bunch of browns. So I mean, we really can't go wrong. So I'm going to start with Good Vibes and I'm going to put that in all over my lid, kind of like a transition color. And I am just buffing and swirling. Now, for me, as you can see, this is just like a very neutral color. It's pretty flesh tone for me. So yeah, you would have to use a flesh tone shadow for yourself. Next, I'm going to go in with Just Barely, and I'm going to put that right up under the highest point on my brow. All right, so now we're going to start going in with a little bit of color, and I'm going to take a tapered brush this time, and I'm going to go into Boo Bear, and I'm just going to sweep that back and forth while looking down so that this color can get in that crease really, really good. I love this palette. It's just so easy to work with. And I'm going to take Booked now, and I'm going to switch back to my fluffy brush and buff out any harsh edges that we just created. Just layering another color too. Just softening it up a bit. I'm going to take Booked and put it underneath the eyes as well. Just sweeping it back and forth. Looking so good. So now I'm going to go in with Chic Happens using this pencil brush. And what I'm doing is I am just swirling this color on the inner corner of my eye. We're going to go back in and brighten it even further, but this is the first color that we're putting down. So next I'm going to take my finger and I'm going to go into this shimmer color right here called Drippin'. And I'm just going to swipe some on my mobile lid. Now I'm going to take a flat brush and kind of pull that above the mobile lid just a little bit. There's still some glitter on this brush from last time I used it. I guess that's okay. Okay, so now we're going to take this small smudger brush and we're going to go in with Cinnamon Roll, and we're going to just smudge that into our lash line. So I'm going to take that same brush and I'm just going to go right up underneath to do the lower lash line. No extra product. Okay, so, and also we have just used just this one palette too. We haven't even switched palettes. Now I'm going to take a bullet brush and I am going to, this is the part where we're going to lift the eye. So in makeup, when we use a light color, it's to bring attention to an area. And when we use a dark color, it is to recede an area and make it fall back. So we're going to take this dark color and we're going to concentrate that right on our little droopy part of our eye. So first, lift the eyebrows and stamp it right on the very outer corner of your eye. Just stamp it for now. Lift and stamp. Lift and stamp. Now we can swirl it and start like buffing it out. We still have the brows lifted while we're buffing it out, but now what we're doing is we're taking it above the crease. See, for this one, when we lift and we stamped, it's pretty much in the crease and below the crease. Now, when we swirl it, we're going to take it above the crease a little bit. We're taking it right above the crease, and you should feel that bone right there. Use that as a guide to how far you are buffing this out. And then just soften those edges with that same fluffy brush that we love to use. No product on the brush, you're just softening the edges. And it's already so much better. Already, okay? But I'm going to go ahead and take you a little bit further. Now keep in mind what I said about dark colors, right? They are used to recede, okay? So I don't want you to get scared. We're about to go in with black. Trust me on this one. So if you want, you can use a pencil. I am going to use my Kat Von D tattoo liner, and I'm just going to line my upper lash line. Okay, so instead of going down and tracing the eye as it is, we're going to flick the liner upward once we are at the end. So just start upward and connect it to what you have already done. So I'm going to make a little bit of a wing, and I start with the brows lifted in order to get that line, and then I go ahead and I relax and connect the top line with the bottom line. So let me show you that again. So I'm going to raise the brow, draw a line upward, relax, and then connect. Okay, so as you can see, we lined the eye and we kind of went like under the fat part. So this is the part where it's really, really, really gonna lift now. So you're gonna take your black eyeshadow and your bullet brush, and you're just gonna stamp again, stamp right where that meat folds. And what you're doing is you're connecting the eyeliner and you're kind of like pulling it upward a little bit. We're going to take our fluffy brush and just blend out those harsh edges. I'm going to take that same bullet brush, no extra product, and just sweep it underneath the eye. And instead of using black in my waterline, I'm going to use a brown pencil. This one is by Urban Decay. And we're looking lifted, babe. We're looking very lifted. Okay, the eyes are going upward. They aren't downturned anymore. Downturned looking. It's looking real good. Okay, so now it's time to buff all of this away before we put our lashes on. I'm going to go in with my Iman loose powder in Earth. Now that that's all dusted off, let's brighten up the inner corner a little bit more with All Luxe. Still using the Jaclyn Hill palette. Doing the same motion, buffing it in the inner corner. We're going to drag a little bit on the lower lash line. Next, let's go ahead and use a little bit of MAC Mineralized Skin Finish to kind of just blend everything together. Make it all very seamless. Then, of course, we have to add a little bit of cheek color. I'm going to go in with the Juvia's Place Volume 1 palette. Then we're going to go in with a little bit of highlight just to finish off the nose. Okay, now let's go ahead and set with our Charlotte Tilbury setting spray. So usually I would go in with a really big fluffy lash, but I want to show you a new lash style I have in, which is called High Maintenance. Let's try these babies out. They are so beautiful. So it's always important to customize your lash. I'm just going to take a smidge off of the end of this one here. They are not too fluffy or too big, so a lot doesn't need to come off. But yeah, I just rubbed a little bit of this Sassy glue on my band, and I'm just going to pop it right on. Like I said in the last video, don't overcomplicate putting on lashes. Just set it right on. That's all. Boom, like that. It's on. So now I'm going to use this lash applicator to just pinch the lash into my lash. I mean, this lash is so light. I don't even feel like I got nothing on at all. Okay, so while this is drying, I am going to go in with my mascara. Now this step is just blending my lashes with the falsies. You don't want to put mascara on the actual false lash. This goes on your natural lash. Alright, so let's go ahead and finish this look off with a sexy fall lip. I'm going to go in with my Film Noir by MAC. Love this so much. And of course, we're going to gloss it up because we sexy. So this is the finished look. What do you think? Adore, right? So cute. Like, we are lifted and nobody can like tell. We don't look overly done or overly made up. It's very subtle tweaks, makes the face look more fresh, more radiant, more youthful. So if you like today's video, do me a favor and give it a big thumbs up. If you know someone who could use the skincare advice, be sure to send them my way. They are welcome, okay? If you yourself can use the skincare advice, be sure to click the link in the description box to sign up for my VIP newsletter where you will receive exclusive beauty content just like this straight to your inbox. Like, comment, share, and subscribe, and I'll be sure to see you on the next one.